I'm Gary Wilson. I'm a Salvation Army major. My wife and I are the command team for the adult rehabilitation centers in the Southeast, headquartered out of Atlanta, Georgia. We are totally funded by the retail stores and the auctions and the as-is sales that we run. So if you give us your shirt, if you give us something out of your household goods, if you give us furniture, if you give us a car, anything that's material goods is considered a donation in kind, and we totally run our operation off of the resale of those things. We have 21 centers scattered around the Southeast. We currently have 86 stores out there that we operate to do the retail operations. We have additional donation sites that are operated independently. So it's quite the convoluted thing going on out there. We felt like we were in good shape where we were going, the changes we had made in the last 2 or 3 years until the pandemic hit. And then, just like every other organization that totally depends on a brick and mortar retail operation, we suddenly went from full speed to almost no speed. And we had to start having discussions as soon as we heard this happening. And of course, our initial thought was, well, we really hope this doesn't hit us in the United States. We hope this is contained. We hope this is all blown out of proportion. We hope this is just media hype. And as it got closer and closer, and as the impact became more and more obvious, we knew at that point in time, we had to start talking to folks and start figuring out how do you deal with this properly, because we had 2,000 employees out there. We had to figure out what was going to happen with them, and then we had to figure out how do we maintain taking care of these 2,000 beneficiaries plus that are out there. We were literally having to manage by cities because our 21 centers are scattered out. They're all in large cities, nothing smaller probably than a 1 million person city. That really complicated things because we had some cities, our biggest dollar performers, the ones who are the most capable of not only paying for themselves but helping paying for some of the struggling centers, are like your Northern Virginia Center in Washington, D.C., your Washington, D.C. Center, your Dallas Center, and some of those, the cities were the first largest hit, and so they were the quickest to shut down. And so we lost our big money makers right out of the chute. What most folks don't realize is the ARC organization, not only is it supposed to pay for itself, but we normally contribute $1 million a month to the territory so they can then do more things here and overseas both. A normal month for us is between 11 and 13, $14 million. When the pandemic hit and took full hold in February, then by the 1st of March, instead of us producing $12 or $13 million, we were losing $8, $9, and $10 million a month because we still had to pay all the electricity, we still had to pay the leases, we still had to pay. Sometimes the folks out there would be helpful to us and not do the lease, but they simply pushed it back, and so we're going to still have to face that. So all those things you read about in the papers, all those things you hear people talk about, we faced all those things, and it's been extremely interesting to look at that and have to look at it 21 times over because it was different every single center. The ideal situation for us going forward is we've learned a lot about how lean we can actually be and what we should look like going forward if we're going to be the most effective organization we can be. So several things have happened, and the need to incorporate e-commerce online and to get better at that, realizing that not only whether or not we wanted to or not, it's become a way of the now instead of the future. And so we're going to have to be much better at that. We have to make sure we have the right people doing those operations in the centers. I think of a center, when I'm running a center, if I had 8 stores, all 8 stores have a measure they're supposed to contribute. And we used to always consider eBay as a little bit of any kind of online sales was sort of just like this cherry on top. And my answer is I want it to become one of the flavors of the ice cream. I want it to be like when you think if you got 7 stores, now you got 8, and I want that to produce at the rate that you consider an acceptable store. And we didn't have that mentality, so we didn't approach it with the aggressiveness, the toughness, nor the forethought that we needed to. So inviting Frenik in is adding a whole new piece to the equation where there's a lot smarter and more attuned people to the online arena than us now involved with us, helping us sort that out. I believe we're going to be a lot stronger, a lot better for it in the coming days. One of the things we have learned in all of this is that we were probably so worrisome, so attuned to trying to be so nice to everybody and be so careful that we literally did shut down just about everything. And one of the things we learned is we can't afford that. And as we started learning the legal aspects and started learning what cities and governments and other things can do, one of the things we realized is the Salvation Army's stores, especially those stores on the main campuses of all the centers, really are considered to be essential items, and that if people can still shop or if they can still donate, we've got to have a place to allow that to happen. Otherwise, we go into a hole which could cause us to lose everything. And so we've learned we're going to have to maintain some sort of business going forward, just like some of the other essential businesses out there.